Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you everybody. Thank you for coming to my channel. I always appreciate it when y'all like, comment, or subscribe, or if you have something to say. Thank you so much for participating and helping with my channel. I really appreciate it so much. And today I'm gonna go over a little bit about a video I made yesterday about whether or not I was fat shamed. I'm just going to go over it real quickly because I have something else to say. But I think that it might have been more of a sexist thing. I don't know. The guy standing next to me was like a beanpole. He was about 6'1" or 6'2". He was at least that tall. He was about a foot taller than me. He was super tall because I had to like look up at him. I have to look up at a lot of people, but people who are about 6 foot, I have this way where I can pretty much tell if you're over 6 feet tall. Short people can do that. We have this measuring thing that we can do. And he was so skinny, and I'm not making fun of his weight or anything like that, or his body shape. It's for the descriptive purpose. You know those people that are so skinny that when they're wearing a t-shirt, it looks concave, like their belly is just concave and they have no abdomen? He was that skinny. And he was younger. He was probably, he wasn't a teenager, but he was probably like in his early 20s to maybe, he could have been in his mid or early 30s, maybe 30, 31. He was one of those people that, you know, they're not teenagers, but they're young, but they could pass between 20 and early 30s. Sometimes there's a range where people can pass through that. They haven't really aged enough in their face, and they still look young, so I really couldn't tell how old he was. But, the thought, see, that's what I thought at first, that it was just a sexist remark, and, I mean, I know it was unintentional, so I'm not upset, I'm not mad about it, but it just was so perplexing to me, because I was like, why would I want a Diet Coke, you know? And I have this thing about Coke. I drink Coke. It's my drink. So it's kind of almost like insulting that you would give me a Diet Coke. It's just some personal issue that I have, you know. I'm totally dedicated to Coke. And as I was walking to the car, and I was unlocking the car, I was thinking, was he saying that because I'm kind of fat? Because I'm a little chunky, I got a little belly, you know? And I was like, you know, I'm not real huge, you know? And I wear like extra large or large t-shirts. I can wear a medium, but it looks, what can I say? Not vulgar, but, just too tight, you know, just, I don't wear super tight clothes like that. And, I thought, the image in my mind was Abbott and Costello. So I kind of thought in that way, I was kind of thinking, was he thinking because he was comparing me to this super skinny person, that's why I should have the Diet Coke? And that's why I kind of thought, was I being fat shamed or was it sexist? So I don't know, whatever, I don't care. But that was, I didn't describe that part in the video about the guy who was standing next to me, because I kind of thought, we look like Abbott and Costello, you know? And then that's what I was like, oh, is that why? So, but anyway, I don't care. But that was just to add a little context, a little bit more context to that. But it kind of did bring up something, bullying and, you know, fat shaming, all this, you know, hateful, horrible behavior that happens. Which I have kind of experienced it a little bit when I was in school, but I was so, I guess I did have good self-esteem, and I wasn't super popular or anything, but I got a lot of friends from a lot of different groups. You know, I was around the country people, the rock and roll people, the intellectual people, I had a few preppy friends and a few stoner friends, and I just was collecting people from all groups, you know, because I didn't discriminate. I didn't care, you know. I liked anybody, you know, anybody who was a decent person, you know. And there was this one girl that she was like the mean girl. She was the meanest girl in school. I'm going to say that. She was just a really horrible, mean-spirited, hateful person. She was a young, this was in elementary school. She was really abusive to people, physically and mentally. She was really mean and horrible and hateful. And she would try to be mean to me, but I was just like, such a happy little kid. And I was just so, I was very athletic. I got along with the jocks. I had a lot of guy friends, and I was very just in the middle of everybody's little clique, whatever. I was kind of, I didn't belong to one, but I was like collecting from everybody. But this girl was just such a mean, horrible person, and one day she tried to, I don't remember what the deal was, what we were talking about, or what. I wasn't friends with her. She would just come up to me and just say rude, horrible things, or try to like knock my papers off, or do something like that. And she would do it when nobody else was looking, because she knew that, other people around me liked me. And so she would do it like, try to be like nonchalant, or like not in front of people, or we'd be alone in the bathroom and she would say something. I was one of the poor kids. I didn't have like the best clothes, and I wasn't like always in the most popular style and everything like that. I had to wear my teeny shoes all year long, and I had to wear the same pair of pants. I had probably like 4 pair of pants, until I got a job when I was 14, and I bought me so many clothes. That's something else. But I was always accepted, I never felt like an outcast or anything like that. And this girl, one day she was saying something to me. I think we were in the bathroom, because nobody was around. Nobody was there. We were totally by ourselves. And I was very academic, and I loved to read. I read on like a college level by the time I was like in 4th or 5th grade. And my mother still had the paper. She kept it, because they did these little analysis of our, I don't know if they still do that, but she kept it, and I found it, years later. And I read, we used to have these books called encyclopedias. I don't know if anybody remembers those, but they used to, it was a huge compendium of books they put out from A to Z. They had every single subject, any subject you wanted to look up. It was like Google, but it was in a book, and it had the letter A, B, C, or, whatever subject it was, from bats to, I don't know, baseball or whatever, whatever subject, you just looked it up alphabetically, and it would be in these big volume books, just big, and they were thick, usually about that thick, each one. And it was like a huge set. I mean, people used to buy bookcases for them, because they were so, they had so much information in them, and they were so heavy and so big, and they were very expensive. They're like hundreds of dollars for a set, and they made them like every few years. And this girl, well, I read a lot about psychology, and I read medical journals and stuff like that. And this girl said something to me one day, really hurtful, rude, and she was, I think, making fun of me or something like that, and telling me I don't belong and all this, just hateful stuff. And I diagnosed her. I had just gotten into psychology, and I read what sociopaths were and all these, personality or mental disorders or something like that. And they had a lot of different words back then. They changed the words of the diagnoses every couple of decades. I don't know, borderline personality or other, I don't know. They give them different names. They change them every once in a while to keep up with the times or whatever. But I kind of diagnosed her as a sociopath, and I wasn't a psychiatrist. I was a little kid, but she hit almost every single marker, I think. And I told her, what, I think you're a sociopath. And she didn't know what that was. She had no idea what I was talking about. I was telling her, you have so many mental problems, and you're so horrible, you're so hateful, and you got a lot of problems. And I had read about, I don't want to use the word, you can't use certain words on YouTube, it makes me crazy. Ugh. But I figured that this girl was being not treated right by one of her parents, probably her father in a very disgusting manner, if anybody can understand that part. Something that's so totally inappropriate that a father would do to a daughter. And I told her, does your dad do this? Or I just started questioning her about it. And I started questioning about all kinds of psychological things. And she froze. She just stood there like frozen. Didn't say a word. And then she turned and she ran out. And from that day forward, and this was in 7th grade, because I had been taking her abuse since 2nd grade. I met her in 2nd grade. And I went to a different school when I was in 1st grade. But from 2nd grade on through high school, I knew the same people. And I was shocked too. I was like, I didn't realize she would have that reaction. I thought she would just be more hateful. From that day forward, she never spoke to me. She never bothered me. She didn't even look at me. When we would be in the hallway, she wouldn't even look at me. She would literally turn around and go the other way. So I knew her secret all through high school. And I never outed her. I never said another word. I never told anybody about it. And I felt bad, I felt really bad. But it was after me being cornered and being, I just came out swinging. And that was what I did to defend myself. And I was young, and I think I didn't understand I didn't think that it would be real. It was just something I was just throwing back at her, and it turned out to be real. And I never bothered her. She never bothered me. We just lived our lives separately, and never from that day. And I didn't really see her doing much to any other person ever again either. And then years later, probably about 20 years later, I saw somebody that I went to high school with, and she was friends with that girl. But this girl was really nice, and she was friends with me, and we were talking about all the people in high school and all this stuff. And then she just mentioned this girl's name. She goes, you know what? She's a whatever. And I was like, what? You're kidding. I was like, and this girl went into a profession, a very noble profession that I respect greatly, where you have to have a lot of empathy and sympathy, and it really takes a lot out of you emotionally and psychologically. And I was shocked. I was like, are you sure? And I was like, she was the meanest person in high school. She was so horrible to me in elementary school and everything. And the other girl too, I know she was like one of my best friends, but I know she was a horrible person. She told me, she goes, yeah, she was, after in high school, they didn't really have too much to do with each other, and they kind of separated on their friendship a little bit. And I think that maybe this person, I'm never going to say her name, I'm never going to say what profession, because then people will maybe know who it is, and I have no intention of hurting this person any further or anything like that. But I did that unintentionally to her, and it was out of years of being picked on and being treated like garbage. And then to find out that she went into this profession, I think she may have had some kind of cathartic moment, or had been, hopefully she was healed. I don't know if you can fully heal from something like that. I don't think you can. I don't believe that you can. But I think that she put herself into doing something for good. And I do think that people can better themselves. And I kind of keep that in my memory, that, because this girl, it was a daily thing with her. When I would go to school, it kind of did cause me a little bit of stress, after years of this, of dealing with her. And I did nothing to her. This started in 2nd grade. And she was just it started with her like stealing candy or pulling my hair, trying to pretend like it was an accident. And I had really long hair, and she would come back and jerk it really hard, like pull my head back and, do weird little things like that, or stab me with a pencil. And it got to be where that was like, I mean, for a child to do stuff like that to another person, and I don't know what caused it. I think maybe I was taking some of her, I mean, I didn't take her friends away, but I think she didn't want me to talk to her friends or to be, I think she tried to like take friends away from me, that to isolate me, or she did this to a lot of people. There's numerous other people, and I have guilt that I didn't stand up enough for other people. And there was people that I did stand up to her for, stand up to her for them, but I don't think I did enough, and I always have that regret with me. But just bullying and the horrible behaviors that some people have, I know that some of them are going through something probably, but I don't think that that's an excuse, no matter what happened to her, to have treated me that way, or everybody else. I think that, I'm saying that that was a cry for help, just a huge cry for help, but, and she never got any until the day when I told her what I told her, that, I diagnosed her or whatever. That was probably the moment that she, I guess, she'd been holding it in or having like a hard outside, but she was, cracked on the inside, completely cracked. And I cracked her outside. I guess that's the only way I can describe it as being. And like I say, unintentionally, it just came out of me, just out of being backed into a corner. And I mean, this girl was like I say, stabbing me with pencils and poking me and doing things. And it's little petty things, but when you're in a classroom or just walking through the hall or in the bathroom and people are doing stuff, weird stuff like that to you, it's creepy and it's weird, and that behavior is unacceptable. And I bit back, and it turned out to be a really hard bite, but it stopped all the abuse and everything that I had to go through with this girl. And I feel horrible that if she did have that life and if things were happening to her, I mean, it breaks my heart, that that can happen to somebody. Even if it's somebody you don't like, I don't even know how to end this video. God, I want to stop now because enough, I think I've said enough and described enough. And that was just probably my extent of bullying, because after that, I've never really felt bullied. At work, there's been people at work that have been really immature and childish, and yeah, I've gone through horrible things at work. But as growing up, dealing with bullying as a child, that was probably the most extensive. I mean, it did go on for 7 years, and it was mental, physical, and just psychological things that she did. And it ended that day. And so I'm going to end this video, and I hope that if anybody is going through anything or struggling with anything, try to reach out to somebody. Try to find somebody that you think you can trust. And if that person doesn't help you, go to somebody else. Just keep going and keep going and keep going. Even if you have to go to an adult, should help you. If an adult doesn't help you, go to another adult, because that person may be wounded, or maybe there's an issue with them. That doesn't mean you need to give up. If you have to find, just keep going, or either if it's so serious that you need to go to the police, go to the police. Do something, because somebody may not help you, and they may not help you for years. I hate to say things like that, but things can happen, and people may turn their back on you. If that person does, go to somebody else. Keep going to somebody else. Just keep going and keep going until you get some kind of help, or somebody will help you. I don't know what else to say, because I don't know how to, I've never had to experience anything like that, but I hope nobody out there that's watching my videos has to go through that. If you are, just go to somebody. find somebody and keep going. You're going to get yourself out of that. Okay. I'm sorry this is such a downer, but what happened to me the other day kind of brought me back a little bit, that thinking about, because I see so many videos with people who've been bullied and treated badly, and it's like, I never was really treated horribly, except for that one person. I kept thinking, yeah, I remember that one person. Okay, I know this is totally down, but thank you so much, and please, just keep trying for help if you need it. Just keep trying.